So I'm going to be starting this video with this. I know that I did not make a video in the past 2 days, and I know that I especially did not make a video for the match between Barcelona and Girona. And the reason why is because I think that the game was held in a very unpractical day, especially for me because if a game is on Monday in the afternoon, it's like one of the worst. People got, stuff to do, and I unfortunately was not one of those people that was able to watch this game. But I especially did not even want to make a video the moment I saw Barcelona tie against this team 0-0 at the Camp Nou, because when I rewatched the game, I'm like, why am I even rewatching this? Why am I even taking my time to analyze this match? Because the only thing that I felt right when the game was over was me being in a very bad mood. And the reason why I was like that is because I questioned the players. Why are they not 100%? Because this is definitely not the way. If Barcelona is going to be performing like this for the next few games, Barcelona may very well lose the lead, because I'm telling you, this is not the way. Like Real Madrid, if they can and they still continue to be 100% in La Liga, they can catch up. They greatly could. I don't want to see Barcelona in no shape or form feel comfortable that they have a 15-point lead. Now it's 13 points. But the fact that Barcelona performed like that only because they were at that time 15 points above Real Madrid, again, that is not the way. No player should ever be acting like that. You must continue to act like you are leveled with your biggest rival in La Liga in terms of points. And so look, there were a few of great players like Gavi, Eric Garcia, Araujo. They were okay. They were solid. But when I saw players like Rafinha, Lewandowski, Ansu Fati just failing to do 1v1s and try to take on players, it was just, embarrassing and frustrating. And I felt the energy coming from these players. We saw their body language. They did not look interested at all. They played with no energy, and I question, why isn't there energy? Why do you feel like you should not be trying? You should be trying. You were representing Barcelona. Do you know what club you're in? Every player has to be at 100% mentally and physically all the time, regardless of the situation. And so that front three that we saw of Ansu, Rafinha, and Lewandowski, it was a disaster. It was a complete disaster. And you know what frustrates me even more? I'm not trying to put out this feeling to you guys and say that, these players don't deserve to be at Barcelona. They're not good enough. I do believe that they are good enough. And that is what makes me so frustrated, is that Rafinha has the level. Ansu Fati also has the level. Lewandowski also does have the level, but they did not try. That is what really worries me about this whole thing, is that I want Xavi Hernandez to really tell these players to give it 100%, 110%, because that is what Pep Guardiola did for Xavi. That is what Pep Guardiola did for Iniesta. That is what Pep Guardiola did for Messi and Villa and Pedro and Puyol and Piqué and Abidal and David Villa and all of those world-class players. That has to be passed on to the next generation. And so we saw many other things, right? So many misplaced passes going to Alejandro Balde that was coming from the midfield. And I'm like, where's the connection? Where's the chemistry? Why isn't this team as a collective getting even better? And especially at this point of the season, it's April. This team should be gelled very well by now. So they seemed very out of focus. There was no desire to win. I was just disgusted. And so again, I love these attackers that we have. I do think that they have great level in them, but if you cannot get the best out of them, then I do expect to see Barcelona to go through a massive big change in the summer, to see many attackers leave and have new attackers come in. Now, because there is some sort of chaos, right? The fact that we're seeing Barcelona in some way be in a out of form crisis. Following up with that, you will be hearing a lot of nonsense stories. And this is what's going to get us to the first topic within this video, which is going to be about Gavi. And it says here, according to AS, Chelsea met with Gavi's agent a few weeks ago. The meeting was satisfactory, and they agreed to have a meeting once again in the next few days. The player is very upset with FC Barcelona. And so again, you guys know exactly what I am going to be saying regarding this statement. It is so not true. The agenda is so clear. If you even look at the news outlet and who's reporting this, they're coming from Real Madrid. So the agenda, again, is very clear. They only want to continue to harm this club because they saw Barcelona now go on a 13-point lead instead of a 15-point lead. They saw that Barcelona cannot register a player like Gavi, and now he's unregistered, and now they believe that they have something, that they're doing something to this club, and they're trying to harm this club. You know what this news outlet has, and I'll give them credit for? They have very interesting headlines. I'll give them that. If they believe that they have something, they have great headlines. But you know what they don't have? They don't have a life. These stories are just so stupid. And so of course, now we do have very credible sources now backing exactly what Gavi is actually feeling in Barcelona and what's actually going on. And so Sport has claimed this: neither Chelsea made an offer nor survey for Gavi. Ivan de la Peña, who is the player's agent, met the London club to discuss about Luis Enrique's future, not Gavi, who is very happy at FC Barcelona. And then we also have Carusel Deportivo, who has also explained that Gavi only wants FC Barcelona and nothing more. So we should not be worried. Again, all of this is just false news, fake news, a clear agenda coming from the Madrid outlets, and that's basically it. Gavi is here for the long run. You can see that Gavi continues to have a lot of passion for this Barcelona badge because of the way that he does play. We saw that against Girona. Even the fans wanted to chant Gavi's name on the 30th minute, and they're going to continue to do that in every game. Every time Barcelona go through the minute 30, Gavi's name will be heard in the Camp Nou. It's going to show everybody here that the connection between Barcelona and Gavi is still very much strong. So now let's move on towards the next topic of today, and let's talk about the injury news, because it says here, according to Javi Miguel, the plan was for Frankie to return against Getafe, but that's now been postponed. Frankie and Pedri are now aiming for the match against Atletico Madrid. And then for Dembele, it says here that Dembele's injury is the most worrying at the club. His recovery is being lengthened even more than necessary, and we still need to wait a few more days beyond the Atletico Madrid game. So I don't know if we're given false information. I don't know if like for the past 3 to 4 months we have only been given incorrect information, or it's just the medical team has not given us correct estimation, because all of this and what we're hearing right now is just crazy to me. Like, remember, like I've said before in like two to three videos ago, I said that originally these players were supposed to come back for the game against Manchester United, right, in the second leg, but it has only been pushed back, and at this point it feels like that these players are going to be out for the rest of this season. Like, I don't know what the answers are going to be now moving forward. Like, what is going on with our players? What is going on with the medical team? You know, like I've heard about this one story like about 12 hours ago or like a day ago about how a player from Bayern Munich did receive an ACL injury 4 months ago. You know what happened with that player? That player is now back, right? That player is back. I don't know what they're giving out to these players out there in Bayern, but the fact that a player came back from an ACL injury that takes about 12 months to recover, but came back in 4 months, I'm like, that medical team in Bayern is just something else, and we need that at Barcelona, because these players who are simply just receiving like hamstring injuries or calf injuries or something like that, they've been out for almost, I think, 4 months or 5 months. And then we have a player from Bayern who received an ACL injury, returned in 4 months, which is crazy. So something is going on in this medical team, and they're currently not doing things correctly. And I hope that whatever's happening with Pedri and Frankie and Christensen and Dembele does not have happen to players like Gavi, Balde, and Koundé, because usually when we see players receive a lot of minutes, eventually they do get injured, right? That happened with Pedri. Pedri in his first season at Barcelona was playing the Euros. He was playing in every game at Barcelona under Ronald Koeman, continued to play every game under Xavi Hernandez, and now look at where Pedri's at, getting injured almost like every 4 to 5 months or every 3 to 4 months. It happened with Frankie de Jong also because of the World Cup games that he has to play and the games that he has to play at Barcelona. And so I hope that this does not happen to Gavi and Balde and Koundé next season, because they're playing a lot of minutes currently. So I really do hope for the best for Frankie, Pedri, Christensen, and for Dembele, and we hope that they come back as soon as possible, because if they could come back for the game against Atletico Madrid, that would be a huge boost for Xavi's Barcelona. And so now moving on towards the last topic of today, and now I do want to speak about Xavi Hernandez, because it has been claimed by many sources coming from Mundo also especially that Xavi Hernandez will be renewing with Barcelona for 2 years. A few hours ago, it was also reported that there was a meeting that took place between Xavi's agents and Barcelona, and apparently they only got good news from that meeting, which is again for Xavi to renew for another 2 years. Now, you may ask, why is Xavi Hernandez only renewing for 2 years? I thought that Xavi was going to be our Sir Alex Ferguson and be here for about 10 years. Well, we have to remember, Barcelona want to play it very safe. And what I mean by very safe, it basically means this. They do not want to give Xavi Hernandez a 6 to 7 year contract knowing that maybe next season Xavi Hernandez could lose it all. Like, Barcelona simply just want to be ready for the worst case scenario. Like, what happens if Xavi Hernandez does not win no titles next season and Barcelona just do not end up playing well? Maybe Barcelona might consider that maybe Xavi Hernandez is not the coach for Barcelona, which is again the reason why they're only going to offer him 2 years. It's just that they want to be in the safe side. Or what if Xavi Hernandez wants to step down in the summer of 2026 or in the summer of 2025? We never thought that Pep Guardiola was going to be stepping down in 2012, but he did. And so what if the same thing does happen with Xavi? And so that is why Barcelona again want to be on the safe side. Keep in mind that if Barcelona were to offer him like a 6-year contract and he accepts it, and then Xavi Hernandez gets either fired or he steps down on like his 2nd or 3rd year, maybe let's say for example 2025 or 2026, knowing that he still has about 3 to 4 years left, Barcelona will still need to be obligated to pay the remainder of his contract, and they do not want to do that at all. It's what happened with Nagelsmann and Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are still going to pay Nagelsmann for the next 3 to 4 years because that is the type of contract Nagelsmann signed before he became the coach of Bayern Munich. And so now Bayern is stuck with Nagelsmann technically on paper until 2027, I believe. And Barcelona simply do not want to be in that type of situation. And especially when we know Barcelona's current financial situation, Joan Laporta and Mateo Lemán are playing the safe game. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.